What's going on, everyone? I'm Zach, your host of the Aux Podcast, and this clip is part of a longer conversation with a band called SHAED on the Auxoro podcast. SHAED is absolutely popping off right now with their single Trampoline. It's being heard all over the world. It was in an Apple commercial, and they also happen to have a lot of cool things, a lot of insightful things to say about life, so please enjoy.
For us, Trampoline, when we wrote it, we didn't think it was going to blow up by any means. We also didn't, pin it as an alternative track necessarily, but it's doing amazing on alternative radio. It's one of our more left of center songs. So going forward, we're kind of like, we're just trying to write as much as possible. And we're not trying to write for anything other than just doing our normal writing process. We're not trying to be like, this would be perfect on radio. Trying to be conscious of that for sure. But I feel like we're just still writing to write.
The fact that it wasn't like we didn't pin it for a single, like even our label, they really dug it. But I mean, no one really thought that it was going to do what it did. And it is a little more left to center for that EP. And I think if anything, I think it's just given us like more confidence to be more experimental and more creative and just like do something more out of the box instead of having the opposite effect of like, oh, we need to try and recreate something like this. So
I think a lot of people, there is something to say about like inspiration hitting you and stuff like that. But for us, it's just about the way we wrote Trampoline was when we moved into this house, we were just writing every day. And, we just had like a process of getting in the studio, after like Chelsea made an awesome breakfast and like we just wrote the song in our studio and wrote the lyrics sitting outside. And all we're trying to do now is just
do it again.
Yeah, just keep going into the studio and like you said, like trying to find inspiration in other places too. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine having something reach that many people and then kind of like detaching yourself. I don't know if detaching is the right word, but just like releasing it out into the world and whatever it is, because at least on the podcasting end, when I'm putting out episodes, it's so tempting to see, oh, this episode got X number of streams and it's nowhere near 90 million, but it's like, oh, this one is getting the most first week streams. So I have to ask the same questions to the next person I did with this person, or I have to kind of create the same vibe or reach out to a similar type person and recreate that success. So a lot of times I have to take a step back and just realize that what I enjoy most out of it is like actually being in the moment right now, having these conversations and then just putting it out there. And however it does. I can't really control that.
And there's definitely pressure. I mean, pressure to have another song follow up, but for us, it's not necessarily having the next Trampoline, but having the next great song. So we're just trying really hard to keep writing, and we have a bunch of songs that we're really excited about.
Yeah. And it's exciting just like, on the flip side, like there's like a positive feeling too of like, hey, Trampoline reached so many people, like hopefully with this next song, like there's more people that are paying attention. So it's just like, if you look at it from that angle too of, hey, like what song do we really want to just share with people and next and kind of try to remind yourself of that.
Yeah. And I hope the next song does as well or better than Trampoline. But even if better, I mean, in terms of streams and numbers like that, if you want to measure it that way, but even if it doesn't, the next song or next album that you put out may be a stepping stone towards another project that has that wide mass effect on people, and you wouldn't have been able to get to there again without the songs in between. So I think about that a lot too. Like these conversations are necessary as a part of my personal growth process, no matter how many people listen to it on the outside. Because like the future conversations kind of go off of the process.
Yeah, no, the process. That's
also at the end of the day, like the success of Trampoline is and the EP and everything is allowing us to keep making music as a full-time thing, and that is like such a blessing. And so I mean, we're just so thankful for that we get to continue to just do this for a full-time thing.
I don't want to underestimate that either, because it is such a small slice of people that make music that are able to make a full-time living off of it. So it's just incredible that you guys have been able to pay the bills and more with the success that you've had, because not a lot of people, most people that pick up the guitar or the keys, whatever it is, never get to that point. So it's pretty incredible when people do.